in the books that there's like countless beings in the true reality, the seventh level and above. Do they all go through life and creation before they could recognize it?
You have to understand that life is endless. So what does that tell you? It always is. So where is there a beginning or an ending, or where did something start or end or whatever? It's all now. And so, yeah, everybody has, you might say, gone through whatever they've gone through. And just like all the lifetimes you and I've gone through, but we're right now. See? And you might say, we've always gone through them. Doesn't matter if there's 10, 100, 100 million, 1,000. Doesn't matter. Does it? No. Because it's a nowness. See, when you come to that recognition and that it's endless, that's all you need. That's, for me, that's all I need to know. It's endless. And so I don't need the time factor anymore. But I will write these things down to relate to people that are in this dimension here, because this is how they see things. This is their relationship. So I have fun with that. But other than that, no, it's endless. Where is there a beginning? Where is there an end? When did someone go through creation or they didn't? Well, just like the boys, yeah, they've been through it. But then again, does it matter, or did they? You see? Because it's now. The best time of your life is now. Everything is now. And it all is.
Okay. That's great. Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, creation's interesting. And, Paul broke it down to yugas and things like this. But you know what? It doesn't, you can say it any way at all. It is what it is. It's all the isness life is. Creation, everything. It's all part of it. It's just learning to see the difference. In other words, instead of making the effort, we do that in creation. But in reality, we don't need to make the effort because it supports us. There's no building or anything. Even, you can do it in the astral worlds. Yeah, it's like here, or the other ones are mental or whatever, but you don't have to. Once you figure it out, you don't have to do any of that. You could have a better position, more aware, with the natural environment that supports all of us. That's I feel very good about how I hooked on to this. But you see, I kept comparing, in this world, what is it that makes sense here, with what's going on? And I just started off with food, air, and water. That makes sense. When I came across the humanitarian programs, I didn't know about them. At a certain point, I realized them because of my bonds and what I was doing. And I thought, okay, this is something I want to do. This is what I want to do. I want to do these bigger projects and that, or whatever, the idea here of this. And so I just looked at the playing board here. It's like, what makes sense? Food, air, water. These are the basics that people start off with. So eventually I built upon that, little by little, figured it out, and then looked at, how to label this. I didn't want to use nature because that just basically refers to the earth. Because, when you talk about the moon or other planets or the galaxy, nature doesn't really apply. It's basically you're just talking about the earth. So that's where I labeled the all-natural environment. I like to add the word all to everything because that became the all is and all seven. So the all implies this reality. And then the all-natural environment, again, and implies all of life. This is the natural environment. But most people think it's just the earth, environmental, which is fine. So I'm tricking them, you see? I'm tricking them into being wonderful. So they're making the connection unconsciously, but they still need to recognize it. But it's more available for them to recognize it if they will take the time to do it. It will become easier for them. Just by accepting the terms that I've created, because they make the connection. They're part of the real connection with the is. It will make it easier for everybody. And just like in Paul's day or whatever, he had certain terms. But those things, again, they're like old buildings that there's no one in them anymore. Yeah, there are places in life or whatever that he referred to, fine. But, they're just places. He referred to like Agam Des and the astral worlds, and then, on up in the spiritual temples and whatever. Yeah, but they're just places, like the different heavens. They're not the recognition of the is. That becomes the difference. And this is where people stay lost in creation, and they stay literal. Everything is defined, not recognized. And there is recognition there, but of a particular, within its own parameters, you might say, within its own boundaries of creation. And just like the God idea, people feel the God idea is the ultimate, but it's in creation. It's restricting. It all deals with restriction. Even though it sounds good, it sounds wonderful, but it's not. It's restricting. And the real universes, yes, they are a reality that just by that very definition or that phrase that I've created, the true reality life is supports that. Because that is why I created those terms. It's for that relationship to this reality. That it's very specific. And when you look at the other paths and whatever, what are they relating to? You see, different planes and levels and places, you see. Yeah. Where is it we are anywhere in life? And that's that recognition that it's an endless isness is what it is. And that's the best part. There's your freedom. There's your freedom to, there's your UP, universal positioning. You decide your position. Yeah. So we're just having a lot more fun than everybody else. They just don't realize it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see we're going to be having even more fun. Like on the real side, I get shown things.
Well, this is a real side. This is a real side too, young man. See, it's all now. Yes, but you're shown that. You're shown that in a particular way because that gives you an objective view, you see. And then you compare that with this, whatever. Okay, that starts you off with your comparisons. It helps you to do that. And then you decide to see more than that. But you must decide that. And you must figure out how to see that. See? So you've got all these variables going on. But the real side is right here. You're always in it. It's just how you recognize it. Because you don't go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that is pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, we use that term because it's easier for people, dreams or whatever. I like the real side. Revazar likes that too, but I like that. See, get away from that dream idea because people think dreams are just dreams. Well, which they are, but anything's a dream. We're in the passing dream here. It seems more sustainable, but actually it's not. It's going to go through its phases. But again, it's all a dream. And life is a dream itself. You dream it, you might say. You decide your dream. You decide your journey, your adventure. This is just what it is. We're in it, and it's amazing that that it even is what it is. That's the amazing part of it. And so we see all the different applications that can take place in this thing we call life. For us to recognize whatever, and we simply learn to recognize a better position than being unaware and the effect of things, you see. Even though they're illusion, but still being stuck in it. And, just like people struggling on the earth. They don't recognize how to do better, so they struggle. And so this becomes our adventure, too, to share something, to see if, people can, all of us can recognize each other. That's really what it is. It's this recognition. Yeah, it's so neat.
Yeah, I can really, right now, I feel that I recognize certain things that make me really appreciate everything you've done here, like with all the projects and everything, because without your references, where would I be? And it's cool, like you said, everything is, everything you do is for yourself. Yeah, it's pretty wonderful.
It
It
is.
makes it,
Yeah.
yeah, it really does.
Yeah. I do it because I like doing it, and also I'm very grateful for everything that's been shared with me, from Paul Rebsar and everybody else. I'm just very grateful. So that's what I live for, is that gratitude. And I see that as that's part of my intent, if not the biggest part of it. That and everything else that makes it up. I mean, there's so many parts of it that are all really the same thing. They're all fused together. True sincerity. I see true sincerity as top of the line. Gratitude. It's a privilege to do this. See, I don't take it for granted. Never take it for granted. Yeah. And so I can't pay attention to everything. I do the best I can. And sometimes I get discouraged and tired and whatever, sort of like anybody else here, because the place wears me out. But you can just sit and daydream sometimes. Take the time to do it and just see how, just recognize the reality of gratitude for what you know and where you are and what's taking place. Just sit and consider that. Yeah, and make that your reality. Why not? Instead of just an idea. Yes, and just to, you might say, glow with gratitude for what you have. Yeah, the real essence. I don't mean the personal things. Yes, that too. That's fine. But something that you can always decide that will always be there, because the world will come and go. Everything here will come and go. And yes, be grateful. I am grateful to everybody that stepped up, especially to Val and Kelsey to come here and help me pay the rent, for now. Yeah. I always strive to be self-sufficient. I like being self-sufficient, and I have things that are agreed upon, but at the same time, they're being held back. But this is just how it is. But, gratitude is huge. Yeah, live with it always, every moment. Learn to see how it's always part of your being. Life recognizes that. Yeah, so when all else fails, you have that. Yeah, yeah. I don't see myself as having anything here. I just do what I do every moment. But I do focus on pure sincerity, gratitude, humility, all these things that sustain the personal self here into what I see with the isness life is. So that becomes my reality when everything else does not work, because it will all pass, but I'll hang on to that, as something that is established, because most people don't have anything. They don't have that. They don't see it. They're empty. They'll live their whole life and they'll really have nothing. And they'll try to look to their feelings and mainly their memories. Yeah, memories are worthless. Yes, you have them as a reference, and yeah, it is cool, but they're not a reality anymore. They can't be. But once you recognize what life is, uh, especially the pure sincerity is purity, and it's sincere like the sun shining. Sincerity, true sincerity, is to where it always is. In other words, the sun is always shining. I see that as sincere. I recognize that as sincere. And the purity life is like the sun shining. So it's pure sincerity is what I see. And I see everything as that. And so that's my relationship with this reality, that it's pure and sincere, see? Always. No flaws, no rules, regulations, restrictions. It's just that always. So then you decide your love affair with it. Makes sense to me that it be so. Two people, a person looks for another person here to be something, just to have some kind of relationship. But what do these things turn into most of the time? Because of how this situation is, how this lifestyle is, and people recognizing themselves, they really don't recognize themselves. They don't really see through all of it. I do. I look at the person's heart, the heart of their being first. I always look at that. And they can do whatever they want. But I always look at that. But it doesn't mean I'm going to like them or want to deal with them. Because again, if they want to be silly, fine, go do that on your own. But I will make every effort for those that really, are sincere in some way to, step up. Yeah. Yeah, but it is a big journey. It's not easy. It's not easy to decide to be sincere and honorable all the time. That's a toughie. And to do it with people that are sincere and honorable with you. Yeah, that's a lot. Who will do that?
I will, Duane. I will.
Yeah, the world is full of people that do whatever they want. I understand. We've all been there. But little by little, you decide how you want to be. And you can be like the sun shining. You just have to decide it. And just decide it every moment. So, as you're out there working, you just do what you do. You learn to better understand, how you want to be for yourself. I was raised by my mom. I was lazy. I was a TV kid in the beginning. But eventually when I got into construction, well, I really liked it. It was hard work, but you know what? I was outdoors. I was out of school. Finally, I quit school at 17. It's like, wow, you know what? And I was surfing and it was like, I can make my own life. That was the first step. And so eventually I saw that how I can be self-sufficient and invented my business as I became a general contractor. And then I could, from all that I had learned, I put it together. And through all that, I put this together. You see, I learned how I could do it myself. And I like that. And one of the things that's frustrated me here is after I spent all my IRAs and my investment money on the rent here after years, I was struggling. I even had to borrow money from Avon, whatever, et cetera. And I didn't like that. Really didn't like that because I like it to have my own money. And this is where I had been doing these other things because I wanted to get out of construction. The boys were showing me you got to get out, because I was too tired to do anything. I couldn't write or whatever. I had to focus on writing. So I saved a bunch of money, had some investments that were working for a while, but then they didn't work for a while. And so I went through a lot and been through a whole lot. I've got bigger things now. We're the world and the galaxies, actually. But it's there. Just bringing it through it's a toughie, huge resistance. But I like being self-sufficient. This is where I really didn't want the membership or any of these things. Even the money, people that have donated money, I told them I'll give you your money back. I don't care about the money. It's not about the money. Once I have it and have what I want, but we'll even surpass the money. We don't even need it with what's coming up. So this will be the fun part. And so that's how I see it. I've always strived to be self-sufficient. Yeah, not just to depend upon others. And, Paul started off that way, which is understandable. That was his day. And then Harold and Darwin took that over. And, that's a big cash cow for them, which is fine. But, that they just chase the money. I don't really care about the money. I see that there's so much more than the money itself. Birds don't need money, and there's a way to survive and live and continue to recognize this reality, more so. And so the cabal, the bankers, created the business world to control it, so they control others, which is fine. We utilize that mechanism, but we don't have to be controlled by it. And we don't have to bow and kneel and chase their idea either, like most people do. So it takes a little figuring out, but it can be figured out. And those people that step up, like yourself and whatever, you'll see it. Everybody else, for the most part, they won't. You have to earn your way. You have to earn seeing what's more real than what's in front of you. You have to earn that. Yeah. And this is why we go through all these lifetimes, so that we establish, a real credibility, you might say, about ourselves, an honorability, and that, we don't take it for granted. We become very sincere with everything we're doing, because it does matter. Every moment does matter. But it's all in how we decide it and how your intent is and so many things. But you figure it out. You're doing fine. Yes. So I'm going to let you and Kelsey go. You kids have fun. You're doing great. I've got some things to do here besides go to the bathroom, and I'm thirsty. So we'll see you on Saturday if you can make it. But yeah, you're doing fine. Just do what you're doing. The trade that you're doing is great. And until something else shows up, I'm working on this end here, the bigger side. Talk to the people I know almost every day or every other day, but they're struggling too. But the boys are doing it. It's there. It just it'll be interesting how it shows up, but it will eventually show up. Something's always going to show up here. So there goes Henry. Okay, Kelsey, you got it. He just popped off. He did good, though. He did good. That was a lot for him. Yeah. That was a lot for him. Well, anyhow, I'm going to hang up. Yes, thank you for calling. Did you happen to record any of this? Good. It would be very good. So you could put it out there. So yeah, there's Henry. Okay, Henry, you and Kelsey have fun. I'm going to jump here. I'll talk to you next time. Yes, sir. Thank you for being there.
Thank you, Duane. Thank you so much. Yeah, my connection just lost.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the stuff you sent and the Manuka honey. That's great. Thank you so much. Yeah, cool stuff.
Thanks, Duane.
Thank you. See you soon. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.